What episode number is it?
138.
Okay, cool.
God damn.
God damn it!
We're so close to the end of this series. It's weird.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's do this thing. Welcome to A Star to Steer by Star Trek Podcast. Today is episode 138.
Woo!
Which is...
Oh, we also woo.
Sometimes.
Sometimes we woo.
Jake does not woo.
On Wednesdays we wear pink, and sometimes we woo.
So this week, my name is Jake.
Wow, I was at this has been. That's the end of the episode. This is Chris.
That has been Chris. This is Ames.
Well, that's Ames. I'm usually Caitlin.
I'm typically Kelly. My husband is Justice and has been on the podcast before.
We remember Justice.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
How's he doing?
He's doing all right. He's at home with our son, middle name Riker.
Oh.
Good name.
Yeah.
Bounce
Good
like baby
name.
Riker.
So
baby
that's
boy.
how we got stuck with the woman.
Oh, wow!
I got it in early. Sweet.
Does he still have that
more
wonderful
like
hair
get it in
custard?
never.
Whoa.
I'm sorry?
Does he still have that wonderful hair custard?
Who,
He
Riker?
does have some hair
Oh my god,
custard,
yes, he smells
that-
delicious.
Oh my
That's
God.
right.
I'm actually wearing some right now.
Are you?
Oh.
The same stuff?
Yeah,
I
the
haven't-
same stuff.
I haven't smelled
Smells
your
like
hair
cookies.
today.
Kelly smells
Yes.
delicious.
Look at this. Runs in the family.
I swear later if I'm nibbling on you, it's not a harassment case. It's just because cookies.
Well, it's just evolution.
Well,
Speaking
that is a
segue.
good segue, Kelly, because this week we're going to be talking about 2 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. The first episode is Genesis!
The hell was that?
the burner.
I know, but your timing was awful. I can't cut that out. It overlapped with him saying the title, and I'm not letting him say it again so I can do a second
you
take.
know, honestly then, my timing was perfect. You say terrible, I say terrific. Like,
And Journey's End!
Oh, this is going to be so piercing in everyone's ears.
Yeah.
See, now, I'm the only one that has to hear it without noise reduction, so...
excuse me.
Speaking of...
That was
that one you
horrible.
can
That's
cut
the
out.
noise Worf made in Genesis. All right. Well, okay. So yeah, Genesis. First up is Genesis.
Yikes.
Nothing to do with
That
David
sums it up
Marcus or Carol Marcus
Nope.
or Scott Farkas.
God save me, yellow eyes.
This one does involve some yellow eyes. In fact, Troy sheds her black
They
eyes
were
for
creepy
yellow.
Data's always got yellow eyes. It's no big deal.
Old yellow eyes,
Yeah,
we
but
call
you know,
them.
Troy's a black eye person. Anyway, so in Genesis, what happens? In brief,
Bullshit.
Barclay's acting like a hypochondriac. He sees, he's gone on WebMD, thinks everything's fucked.
Which was so good. They completely fucking foresaw WebMD. How many times have I told you don't check the medical database? I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yes.
Nailed it.
So naturally, Crusher's like, don't do that. You don't have a serious problem. You just got this genetic...
Torellian death syndrome.
Yeah. The symptom of that is death. You just have, there's this thing, and your natural genes aren't battling it, so let me just give you this shot that'll wake up your genes.
T-cell shot.
And it'll be better. So things are going on. Worf is testing some lasers or something. The photon goes off course, so then Data and Picard are like, we gotta go get the weapon.
Go on a 3-day trip.
To go on a 3-day trip to go find a weapon. So they leave, and while they're gone, Worf bites Troy, and other weird shit's happening. By the time Data and the captain get back, everyone's turned into monsters.
Devolved.
Yeah.
De-evolved.
Yeah.
De-evolved.
So many D's.
It's like when your Pokemon wants to become a Pikachu, but instead it becomes a...
Raichu?
What comes
No,
before
Pichu. Isn't Pichu a little Pikachu? Isn't
I think it's
Pichu,
then
Pikachu, then Raichu? Yeah.
Pachu.
God bless you.
Anyway, so that's what happens. Everyone's turned into like monsters, like animal versions of like animal hybrids, and they figure out that the drug that Crusher gave to Barclay
Was some trippy shit.
caused everybody to wake up their dormant genes from ancient times. Introns. So like Barclay became a spider because humans evolved from spiders.
Yep. Barclay's and only Barclay's ancestor was a spider.
I don't know. It sort of makes sense for him.
Yeah.
Somehow, like
I would have preferred a
Picard
weasel.
was in the process of turning into a pygmy marmoset
which, like, what the fuck?
or a lemur.
Also cute.
It's true.
And then, but then, of course, the piece de resistance is Worf,
Troy. Oh.
who's a giant fucking monster, like
With venom
with
breath.
venom, and like he is alien pretty much.
Pretty much. Alien, like, if it infected a crab.
Yeah.
When she's like, Worf, open your mouth, and then he like,
spits some
I was
venom
like,
in her
Jesus
face.
Christ, dude, he's gonna brush his teeth.
I was a little confused by the fact that Crusher could identify the venom sacs, but still asked him to open his mouth in front
That's
of her.
true. She says, "Oh, this looks like a venom sac."
But
Well,
I guess she
she's
had to
a
go
good
direct
idea.
the episode.
She
so.
probably.
That's
well,
true. Yeah, they had to write her out of the
Wait.
acting.
Wait, what?
Gates McFadden directed this episode.
What?
Oh my god, that's why her scene at the beginning with Barclay sucked so much. I was watching the scene, and I was like, why does this feel so shitty? Like, it felt so stilted.
Poor
It
Gates
was so
McFadden.
bad.
She's like, look, you've let Riker direct, you've let Picard direct.
You let
I want
LeVar-
to. You let
LeVar
LeVar
direct?
direct.
Yeah,
like,
listen,
let me
Gates-
direct, and then they decide, all right, you can direct this fucking trash fire.
But didn't LeVar Burton do that one where he de-evolved into some shit? Wasn't he the one that directed that one?
I don't think so. I think
Oh,
he would be
right.
too busy
Look,
acting.
I'm
for
just
that one.
saying, is this woman has
Well, you
appeared...
think that,
He
but
did-
Gates McFadden proves otherwise.
He did second chances.
Oh, okay.
This woman has appeared alongside Kermit the Frog. She deserves better.
Well,
Listen,
That's true. Yeah.
she gets to direct everything in the fucking show. I'm just saying. She's always directing shows within the show, so she should have stuck to that.
yeah, she should have done the
But yeah, no,
the crazy Riker thing.
I will not blame her for this episode. She didn't write it. She just got saddled with
Yeah,
directing.
and I'm certain she did as well as she could have with this mess.
Yeah, it's trash.
Oh my god.
I remember seeing this as a kid, and not having advanced scientific knowledge, but having gone over the most basic concept of evolution. So even then going, why the hell is Barclay a spider?
I
Why is
missed
Barclay
the
a spider?
chain in evolution where
so-
human
so-
beings were
so
spiders at one point.
I think honestly, this whole thing there's two explanations in the episode given.
both of them bad.
Introns.
Well, it's all about introns, yes, but at one point, Data says, and I could kill him for it. He says the crew is de-evolving.
I hate it.
Which is just dumb. Because that's not what was happening. What was happening, and what was later explained,
They were becoming mutants.
is that the introns are like, yeah, we share DNA with spiders. And like, some of our distant ancestors might have had arachnid-like, we don't know this, but, there might have been some crossover there. Doubtful.
Well, apparently we're genetically super close to mice, which is why they do so much like cancer research with mice.
Well, we're genetically super close with all mammals compared to spiders or fish.
I think we're closest to pigs.
Iguanas. Cats and iguanas
Oh,
are the
that's
same.
Cats are
certainly they use like pig hearts and stuff.
Oh,
So-
yeah,
so the
Jake.
idea-
You forgot to mention Jake.
Yeah,
That's
That
right.
Spot had her kitten.
Yeah, Spot had her kittens and then literally turned into an iguana, and the kittens starved to
It
death.
was a really cute iguana too, though. At least, I mean, I was digging.
Yeah.
Spot
No,
the
they were
iguana.
milking that iguana. The kittens were fine.
Oh,
No, they showed up and they were like, they sound hungry, and it's like, yeah, because this bitch turned into an iguana right after plopping them out.
And I feel like if it was a day afterwards, they probably wouldn't.
No,
be
they wouldn't have
alive.
survived.
They said
Like,
3 days. Didn't
And
they?
then like
Oh.
No, I thought they said they were 24
Picard and
hours
Data
old.
didn't try
Did
to
they? I thought they did.
feed the cats at all either.
No, he just kind of left.
He just
had other
left, so the
things to
cat-
do.
the cats are definitely dead.
Picard hates all children.
He didn't even go over to have some just created for him through the replicator. Like, he probably...
You know, I could feed these cats.
Well, being
but,
fair,
yeah.
the replicators probably weren't working.
That's fair because the computer was off.
I will say, I remember on the way, it's like, oh god, I can't think of a single nice thing to say about this episode. But then, well, there were those kittens. They were adorable.
The other nice thing, because I was talking to Kelly about this episode a little bit, and I do give a lot of credit to the makeup.
Yeah.
Barclay looked horrifying.
Yeah, no, that was
didn't
unpleasant.
Troy looked really cool.
I didn't even recognize Barclay. Like, I
That was
actually
actually
needed them
Barclay.
to tell me that was Barclay.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? What was that? And I was like,
And it was
I also would
actually,
like to
what's
know.
the actor's name?
Dwight Schultz.
Dwight Schultz. It was actually Dwight Schultz, too. The only actor who didn't do the makeup shit was Michael Dorn, for some reason, as if he's not used to it.
Well, they probably had a suit they wanted to build that required a smaller actor to be in it.
That would make sense.
And or he'd already been in the fucking makeup chair for 45 and a half hours just to get into normal Klingon gear and was like, if you think I'm doing that again, you're crazy.
All right, so the thing that the worst part about this episode is
All of it?
that
the point?
when they're in the
fact that
sick
it
bay
contradicts the change?
and Monster Worf is attacking sickbay, he's denting the sickbay door. But then when they show him from the outside, the door is not dented.
My
Oh,
God.
I didn't even notice.
That is the
Yeah,
worst
you're right.
thing.
That was the worst part.
It's pretty bad.
I think we can all agree.
But yeah, what you were saying, Jake, and they seeded that. You know, they had that line where it's like, well, there's all kinds of DNA floating around. It's like, yeah, but not enough to literally turn someone into a spider.
Well, also, let's not forget, what
apparently
DNA...
you're wrong about that.
What is DNA, right? DNA is essentially...
It's a sequence of amino acids. Right?
Yes, and it's the
It's
instructions
in your blood.
that dictate what cells should turn into when they replicate, right?
Not even that. That might be RNA.
I don't fucking know.
It's very complicated.
They're the building blocks of
And
life.
it's not...
The point is, if you suddenly change somebody's DNA, they'd probably just die.
Yeah, no, their cells would stop functioning
That's what
properly.
cancer is, right? Cancer's defective DNA.
No, cancer's cells self-replicating.
like over-replicating.
Yeah, but isn't it because
Way
the
too much.
DNA is damaged?
I don't know, to be honest. It could be.
I
But
don't know enough about it.
But yeah,
all
no,
they
it's
need
not...
to do is get a pregnant woman and steal her amniotic fluid.
Which is made up primarily of pee.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a ton of piss in amniotic fluid.
That explains
Is it the
so
fetus?
much.
The fetus piss or what?
I don't
I
really
had a
know.
baby
I'm not
and
sure
I'm
whose
not
piss
quite
it
Who's
is.
sure.
pissing in women?
Well,
Donald Trump?
oh.
No, wait, he getting pissed on. Never mind.
Yeah.
I mean, porque no los dos. You know, I mean, it was really good. You were there with it. It was perfect. It doesn't matter. We don't have to. Oh, hi, kitty.
Well, the nice thing about being the editor is that even if it hadn't been perfect, I could edit it to make it seem like I was...
Yeah, that's true.
You're not that good at. Oh, I mean.
Shit.
You want to edit this episode? Tell me how easy it is.
No, that's why.
Try belching some more.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I mean, this episode's garbage.
Yeah, no, it is.
yeah.
It's one of those ones though that I feel like was written kind of for kids. I feel like,
Or by a kid.
or because I feel like I don't know, kids
As
would be like, oh, the fear and he turn into something.
You know what bugged me? I know you said this a while ago. I forget what episode it was. But you
Animorphs
said,
was popular at the time.
Dude, that was such a good series of books.
But you said a while ago, Jake, I forget what episode it was about, but talking about how, Star Trek trying and failing to do horror.
Oh yeah.
And, this one, again, it's very clear,
It is kind of scary.
Yeah, it's a horror episode. But then, in the middle of it, they have the whole thing where it's like, oh, yes, you're turning into a lemur, which, felt like it was supposed to be a joke. And it's like...
Did you
This
see how
timing- Excuse me.
lemur-like Patrick Stewart was acting? Amazing. The man can do anything.
But it just felt like, now? You're going to put a joke in now?
Let's
be a joke.
Let's be real.
Well, I mean, Data was being serious, but I feel like having him talk about the specific kind of monkey that the captain is turning into feels like it's supposed to be comedic.
Although to be fair, Data did open with a joke at the beginning of the episode.
What was the joke?
Didn't he open it with a joke?
No,
that's
that's
a
Journey's
crap.
That's Journey's
in case you didn't know, that was a joke.
Say that again in a couple minutes.
Okay, we'll do.
No, I actually read this episode. The idea for it has been kicking around since season 4.
I thought you were going to say 1, because I'd have believed that.
That's true.
It's
No,
been
it was
kicking around
It was in
since
Space
TOS.
2, but Rick Berman kept. It was Brandon Braga's idea, and Berman kept shelving it until someone could actually make the science work. And their science advisor says, "Wait a minute, introns," and they're like, "Yes, that just might work, and we have no other stories that we could possibly write."
Was their science advisor high?
See, I'd buy it if it was an alien thing, like an alien virus that, or something, or transporter problem.
But no, Barclay's messed up insides.
Because, like, I don't know, the treatment of DNA as just a concept on Star Trek in general is ridiculous. Because, you know, like with
the chase, you mean?
Well, there's that, but like Ogawa, you know, she's basically, you know, a monkey person, and then Data gives her the shot, and then she's the next shot she is.
No, it was a few shots. It wasn't.
They also had to.
But she immediately, like, all of the body hair was gone. She was back to her normal figure.
There was a lot that they cut for time.
I was gonna pick on the hair part because even if she morphed back,
yeah,
she's
like,
still gonna have to shave that
the
beard
hair
off.
would fall out over time, maybe. Who knows? But she wouldn't just be. It reminds me of
the dying year, deadly years.
The deadly years, where they just okay, they're young now. They're back to
or
normal.
the one where Deanna was aging and then was instantly young again as well.
Like, you'd at least think that they'd be like, oh, well, we can use the transporter traces, because that's an established thing on Star Trek.
That's true. They've done that a million times.
We can beam you back in as your old self.
They've been doing that since Lorelei's signal.
Mm-hmm. This is another thing too. Is like
great idea, Spock.
The ship is gonna be trashed. You're gonna have dead people all over the place, including
Worf will have eaten everyone.
Poor bastard on the bridge.
You're gonna have shit everywhere.
So much poop.
That guy.
So much poop.
I have to give mad props to that one red shirt that was on the bridge, though, because they focused on him with his head back and his eyes crossed and open for, like, ever.
Well, I was reading about that. I actually read about that on Memory Alpha, that the actor that they had for the beginning part of the episode as that character, though he talked to Riker and stuff.
Listen to Jake, this is a
the
lie.
actor actually died
I was
during
he was actually
filming.
dead during that scene.
And they're like, we can use this.
Yikes.
It's Weekend at Bernie, this shit. That's fine.
You know, like how Picard having to inform families, like how weird must it be? Dear Mr. and Mrs. That Guy, I regret to inform you that your son perished in the line of duty. He was murdered by a de-evolved member of the crew. Long story. Hugs and kisses. Captain JLP.
I feel like this is the moment where the guy from Monty Python busts in like, no, stop it, much too silly, nope.
Do you think he made an announcement like he made for Cedo?
Oh, no.
We're sorry to announce that Cadet
that guy
Lautrec has died of
Worf.
It's Worfed to death.
How is Worf gonna feel about this later?
Great.
I'm willing to bet this is one of those things that, like...
They just don't tell him?
Well, yeah, like, I'm sure it's one of those
happened to
things
that
where
guy?
it's like, once you've been fixed, like, you don't remember the period where you were devolved. Because if not, this is the mission everyone just silently agrees to never discuss again.
Yeah. And quit Starfleet
like,
forever.
they never talk about it. It's like, remember that time? No, we don't, Harold. We don't remember the time I turned into a parrot and shit all over you.
Well, they kind of do that because,
at
the end of the episode, we only get Barclay's reaction, and it's not very...
It's pretty lighthearted.
It's pretty lighthearted.
It's like, oh, I have a syndrome named after me.
But, like Deanna's there, and she doesn't have any trauma, apparently, about having been turned into a fish monster. We don't see Worf or Riker, really. So I don't know. There's a lot of like fallout as a result of this episode that I think would have been interesting to see some of.
Guys, consider how much we just glossed right over all of Jean-Luc Picard's shit after being Borged. Like, did you really think they were gonna...
I mean, he got an episode.
Yeah.
Wrestled with his brother.
Yeah.
But... Also, who reconstructed Bev's face?
Bev's face?
Yeah, because in the beginning, she gets venomed in the face, and they say, "Oh man, she's going to need a whole lot of facial reconstruction."
Well, once they fixed the rest of the medical staff, one of them did it.
Yeah, it's actually been about 6 months.
Yeah, because she mentions when things are starting to go hooey, she's like, "Oh, get Dr. Somebody and Dr. Salar down to somewhere." So
I wonder what Salar turned into.
Vulcan.
Sell it? I hope it was a sell it.
A salamander.
Oh man! So you think as she was de-evolving, do you think there was a moment where she turned like full proto-Vulcan and was just violent and murdering people? She's actually the one that killed Johnny Redshirt.
Oh.
She wanted to mate with him. He was like, "I'd rather not," and she's like, proto-Vulcan.
Yeah, it was so great episode.
Real great.
Super good.
So you said they cut a lot for time. Was there any... Because They seem to be implying things about Geordi, but like they never got
Geordi
into
never,
what.
well, no, Geordi even
was
when,
just exhausted.
when everybody else seemed to be really affected, Geordi didn't seem affected at all. Like there was a point where he was.
Geordi's already pretty de-evolved.
That's racist.
No, it's just Geordi.
It's the incel thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think like
He
at
actually
first,
just turned into a giant man-sized fedora.
He turned into a MAGA hat.
He's not that bad.
But
He's
What were you asking, Chris?
well, because at first it was like, oh, he's tired 'cause he's trying to keep up with Barclay, but then they really kind of leaned on it, like, no, it's because he's de-evolving. Maybe he was turning into a sloth.
Aww. He'd be a cute
he'd be
sloth.
Sloth. Somehow the visor
so cute.
becomes sloth-sized. Don't ask. It just did.
No, that tracks. People's clothes always.
Why did nobody turn into like a bird?
Maybe they did.
We don't know.
Did,
We
and
only,
they flew away.
we only really saw like 4 or 5 people and what became of them. We didn't see a lot.
Yeah, dumb Riker was kind of fun.
Neanderthal Riker.
Not when he was Neanderthal, just like when he was dumb.
Oh, that's great too.
That the thing is, I bet that's indistinguishable from a hungover Riker.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like that's me when I've gone to work on a day I shouldn't have. It's like, oh no, I was sick. Shit. What? Yeah, I'll you do. Yeah, whatever you think. Oh god.
Yeah,
Oh
just
fuck!
do
What's
the
my
thing.
password? What's my password for this computer?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello, computer.
No, I know because they had to cut things for time. They cut a whole sequence where they were going to have Barclay drop from the ceiling instead of spring up behind the glass.
Oh.
Stop. With a big thing of silk coming out of his
I think
beehole.
I
this
know, it's
episode,
kind of
like
about the
the pacing of this
butthole.
episode really kind of sucked too. Like they could have spent more time.
With
In the
kittens?
horrors.
Oh.
Because they spent so long building up to it.
Yeah, like maybe it was just a budget thing, and they doing the makeup and everything and shooting was expensive, but they spent a lot of time before anything really happened.
Yeah. Like, that's why I had forgotten. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, get to the bad science already.
Oh, and
What
actually,
the
no,
fuck?
you know what? That also explains it then. Gates McFadden directed. No wonder that scene at the beginning was so fucking long, too. You feel like you spend so much time talking to him about fucking, this is your T-cell thing, I'm gonna check you're this thing and you're that thing. Come on, Gates. You're better than this, Gates.
Spider Ridge.
Maybe you're not.
Spider Ridge. Do from a ledge. I don't know. I'm bad at musical improv.
No, I mean, if you could have filled in the do-to-dos, From a Ledge was quite good.
To be honest, I didn't even notice the difference in Reg. So.
Oh, poor Reg.
But then again, I feel like the scenes of the, sort of the weird personality traits coming out in the crew was some of the more interesting stuff in the episode.
Troy's always thirsty.
And like some of the
literally.
some of the subtle things they did, like I
You
don't know if
think
you
that
guys
would have
picked
been
up on
Riker's
this,
thing.
but like when they're in the conference room after Worf had attacked Crusher, Ogawa is there, and when she gets up, she kind of does like a hand walk across the table.
Did see that, and I didn't
Like,
understand
and then she
why
walks
at the
out
time.
kind of like like a monkey kind
Man,
of.
I gotta give Ogawa more props than that.
Like so, there was like little subtle things in the show, like that one that was
I'm really
were
glad you
interesting
mentioned that
touches.
because I made note and then was kind of like just let it go. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're right. What I enjoyed the most
And
is
she was
that
like holding her hands like a chimpanzee,
what I liked was when they focus on Riker. He had his hands. He was given a big old finger, big time. He was like with his big old finger up, and I was like, oh shit.
He was trying to eat Livingston.
yes.
Why didn't Livingston devolve?
You can't get lower than Livingston.
Well, I imagine the T cells don't permeate his tank.
Oh, yeah, let's go with
That
that.
makes sense.
I'm gonna go with that.
God, what did fucking Worf shoot all over Picard? Was that piss? I'm
Probably.
pretty sure it was
I think it was
piss.
probably venom. It was probably the venom.
Yeah, but the piss
It
venom was
burned.
like
It
yellowish.
burned
and
him.
when
It
he
burned him, yeah.
and when he venomed Bev, it was like a blue icicle breath.
Well, I think that was like a different stage of the
How many
de-evolution.
venom sacks does this man
He's
have?
got a lot of sacks. Okay.
He's got at least 2.
You know,
Fine.
thinking on it, I kind of wish this instantly would have been a way better episode if Livingston had turned into some sort of horrible octopus monster and we got an awesome octopus caveman fight. Like that would have been great.
That would have been
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
You might as well go full
I'm liking
B-50s
this.
movie with it. Like,
Could they have brought back the TOS fight music for it?
fuck yes. But yeah, no, Caveman Riker versus big fuck off octopus Livingston.
All I can think of is that weird fish monster from BioShock 2.
Oh,
That's what I imagine Livingston would have turned into.
Yes, I forget.
What's
Alexander,
my
Philip,
God.
something.
That might have been... Yeah, Alexander, you're right. Holy shit, well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, why do
Can't
I
remember his surname, but...
Yeah, I don't
What's
know.
happening in Cetacean Ops right now?
Oh, God.
Dude, no, the dolphins are fine. You know?
Are they?
Yo, yeah. 100%. They're like, everything is going
They
according
just-
to plan.
No, they sprouted their legs.
Oh, God, but they still have dolphin bodies, so it's just like a fucking dolphin where the
With
tail
man-
should be.
with
It's like
man
little
legs.
Barbie legs.
The reverse merman.
Well, do you ever see how, like, if you look at certain whales, I don't know about dolphins, but whales, some species of whales actually have leg bones.
They do, yeah. They're just,
Yeah.
just floating in the
That are
muscle,
like,
too.
yeah, they're not attached because they were leg bones that were from when they were
Yeah, no,
land
they-
creatures.
Are they
Yeah,
they
there
what
is
the people in WALL-E turned into?
But no,
Yes.
that
What's
is
the
a theory
word for that? Vestibular or something?
Vestigial.
Vestigial.
That's the
Vestigial,
one.
that's
But yeah,
all
no,
right.
there is a theory that there were some...
De-evolution was
That's
what I was
the
going to
one.
say.
that basically whales were like creatures who, they came out of the ocean, lived on land for a while, and then went, actually, this sucks. And went back into the ocean.
Suck.
So-
Breathing air is the worst.
Well, I still breathe
I've been
air.
considering
Oh,
going
fuck.
back into the ocean, but I don't think it works that way.
But,
It's still the worst.
But
Well,
so
they
you're
still
right, though.
breathe
The
air.
whales might suddenly just have legs and they're tottering around the ship like, oh,
yeah, that's
God.
true. Whales do have to
Yeah,
breathe
right,
air.
that's
Good
what-
point. They're mammalian. They have to do that thing. All right, well...
Yeah,
Well,
so
and
they
like-
kind of half-assed it, right? Like, we'll
Yeah,
get rid of
Troy-
these gills now that we don't need them.
I
Now
was
that we're on
gonna say-
land. Fuck.
Troy at least devolved into some gills.
Yeah.
So
That's
she could
true,
lay
that's
face
true.
down in her fucking tub. That was so creepy.
I finally see why people ship Troy and Worf. Because that was pretty hot.
The
Dude,
non-consensual bite.
And you're saying that Chris is into some weird shit?
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, listen, I don't know kink shaming right now.
No,
Just,
they're
you know.
continuing to build the Troy Worf thing, and now it's like, oh man,
Well, except, like,
he
he was-
thinks he's her mate.
Mm.
Well, that's because he bit her in the face.
Listen, don't shame us, okay? Maybe Ames and I like to be bitten in the face as
Fair,
part of the
fair.
mating process, okay?
And then we spray our venom at you.
Yep.
Like,
I will say, I found the...
oh no.
I didn't notice that McFadden had directed this, but I did find the scene where he got sprayed with the venom really upsetting because
She
it
did
was like,
so much screaming.
yeah, it was like it wasn't like casual TV violence. It was like someone, credit to her, it seemed like she was genuinely in a great deal of pain, which really is weird
'cause she
for
knew
Star
she-
Trek.
It's because she knew she had to put her name on this script. She was in a great deal of pain. That wasn't acting.
But no, it really upset me. Like they really lingered on it, and I was just like, end it already.
It's
She was
like
just
when they
thinking
did-
of future forum posts that people were going to make about the episode.
I don't even know what a forum is yet, and I know it's bad. No, it's like, remember the theatrical cut of, did anybody else see the Sweeney Todd theatrical cut?
No.
Did you? No. Alright, well, quickly, Tim Burton made Sweeney Todd into a movie starring fucking Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter because Tim Burton only casts people he's having sex with. And there's this scene at the end where, spoilers, Sweeney Todd, like, shoves Mrs. Lovett into a furnace. And they lingered on that cut for, like, ever. It's like her whole body catches fire and she's just screaming for so long. And you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Oh, sweet
Yeah.
baby Shireen, no.
Also,
But thankfully they got rid of a lot of that. Actually, I don't think they even show it in the
remember.
in the home video version.
you know what's funny, Jake? Just looking over my notes for this episode,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I didn't notice Ogawa walking weird, but apparently I did. But I didn't get it. Because I said, why was Ogawa limping? I was going to say, Ames, did the actress hurt herself or something? So,
No, she was turning into a monkey. We can just be thankful that they didn't turn her into a panda.
that's true.
Pandas are cute.
Yes,
Yeah,
but problems.
Well,
we had enough racism this week without that.
Ogawa,
Good
theoretically...
segue, Caitlin.
Thanks.
Ogawa, theoretically... I mean, I don't know about the actress, but the character, probably Japanese.
Yeah, that's
And-
true.
And
But they don't know. It's Asian. Asian.
no, I know. Star Trek is very guilty
Ogawa's
of...
definitely a Japanese.
It does sound.
So my
yes.
first note on this episode
Which
is Genesis is, oh Christ, here we go. And my last note is fucking Spider Barclay.
Oh Christ, there we went.
My last note is fucking Barclay.
There we go.
What he gets the disease named after him.
But like the thing is,
Which
we get.
totally
I
isn't
feel
a
like
thing, by
I feel
the
like
way.
we got robbed of a Barclay episode
Yeah,
here
it's
because Barclay
usually-
episodes are usually good, but we didn't get enough Reg action.
But
No, we got more than fucking enough. If he was gonna act like that the whole time,
well, sure.
well, plus we already got to see hyperactive Barclay in the nth degree.
yeah, give us a new Barclay. Goddamn,
I will say,
Give us Starstruck Barclay.
we're getting that in First Contact.
That was my joke.
Oh,
good
one. It was good.
Boo this man! What's that from?
I don't know. It sounds like something from like
Family Guy.
White Kids I Know or whatever the fuck it's
Oh
called.
yeah, what is
Whitest
it?
Kids
Oh,
I Know.
there was another huge fucking problem with this episode. You briefly see Worf's feet.
Oh no.
They
And they're not
aren't
ridged?
ridged.
Fuck this episode.
Yeah,
Yep.
I thought it couldn't get worse.
We knew
but
it went all the way
alas.
down.
No, I know that this episode.
I got a foot transplant after that spinal injury.
I talked in fucking TAS about the Star Trek 101's Spock's Brain Award, in which they give an award to the worst episode of a series, and this was it for TNG.
Wow.
Yeah, I can see that.
The
Yeah.
worst.
I don't know if I give this worst of the series, but it's pretty bad.
It's definitely a contender.
If you assume that Shades of Grey doesn't count,
Yeah.
That's what everyone seems to be assuming.
But at any rate, I think we've had enough of this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something a little more light. The Trail of Tears.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh no.
This is why Jesus changes middle name
All right,
to fucking
so
clear.
in Journey's End, the ship is joined by one of our least favorite characters of all time, Admiral Bitcheyev.
Oh, I thought you meant Wesley.
I know.
Wesley
I was
Crusher.
baiting you with Wesley.
Well, good job. You got me.
and also Wesley's there. Wesley's home on vacation from Starfleet Academy, and he's all mopey and kind of a little twat at everybody.
great.
Yeah,
dropping.
new and improved piece of shit, annoying
Yeah.
asshole Wesley.
You know, he
Yeesh.
treats Geordi like shit. He treats everyone like
To be
shit.
fair, though, it sounds like Geordi pretty much fucked up, though. I mean,
Yeah, Geordi really screwed the pooch.
but the problem is, though, is like, sorry,
Oh,
I'm
he shoots
interrupting
the
you
pooch.
again. But that's true. Geordi has a history of like not being really good at taking constructive criticism. So even though Wesley was being kind of a bitch, he just doesn't like people telling him he's doing it wrong, which I think is not cool.
Jordy, stop fucking Leia on the holodeck. Don't tell me what to do, Mom.
His mom's dead. That was really insensitive.
Yeah.
She's not dead. She's just
Sleeping.
missing. Anyway, so yeah, Admiral Nechayev shows up as well to be like, "Hey, Picard," and like Picard's like, "Man, we have to make a really good impression because she's such a bitch." And every time,
Here, crackers.
Every
have
time
some
I-
canapes.
every time, you know, she gives us a mission, it's a big problem because she sucks. And so let's treat her nice and let her know that she's welcome on the ship. So I made her some shitty tea and some crumpets and bullshit. And so she comes on board, and the first thing she does is say, "Fuck you and your crumpets." And then she's like, "Actually, on second thought,
Yeah.
I'll eat your crumpets."
All right,
The
give me those
Pulaski method not
canapes.
working.
So anyway, Nechayev is like, yo, Johnny boy, I got a mission that only you can do. Drive some Indians off their land
A mission from God.
by any means necessary. And Picard's like, okay, orders in order.
No, but first he's like, okay, but like, do you see the irony of this? No? Okay. All right. Okay, then.
So
As long as,
Aye,
as long as I'm the only one.
so we find out that yes, Indians still exist, and we're talking about American, Native American, North American Indians in this
Yeah, was it in
case.
that first conversation that they were already using the word Indian?
Yeah, they use
right away.
Indians through it.
Constantly.
And this is interesting because this
I
is
was
like
so uncomfortable.
this is the mid '90s, which I feel like is the height of the
Someone didn't tell the
Native
writers
American
this.
use of that word coming into popularity. I feel like
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they should have gotten the memo.
yeah, like I remember it was
People were still-
not cool.
People are still calling them Indians now, 15 years later.
Well,
I mean,
yes.
the episode description calls them Native American Indians
Well, that's...
on Netflix.
But I mean, maybe I can sort of understand.
halfway
Maybe
there, I
like I would
guess.
be like I would have said like indigenous people, which I guess is kind of a roundabout way of saying Indian.
Well, no, it's a roundabout way of saying Native American, and it's totally fine.
Yeah, but isn't indigenous? Isn't isn't the word itself derived from Indian?
No, indigenous means like your people started there. Like from that area is indigenous. Like you can have indigenous
Yeah,
plants.
but what's the etymology of the word indigenous?
I'm sure it isn't Indians. You want me to look it up? All right, go on. I'll find out.
Anyway.
But no, I think like at the time, indigenous wasn't used as often. That's more that's the transition now to sort of.
It could have said First Nations. Of course, nobody in the United States would know what that meant. That's a Canadian thing.
Indigenous. Origin Latin. Indigena, a native.
Oh, okay.
So actually, we probably got the word Indian from the same Latin root, but not necessarily.
But Indians are named after.
Oh yeah, India. So
Indian
no, I guess
India.
we didn't. So it's just a great coincidence. Isn't that nice?
Really interesting.
Don't you love it when
with
T-I-L.
Don't you love it when things work out?
This
Isn't
has
that so
been
nice?
Etymology Corner.
I love that shit. I'll do etymology all day.
But anyway, okay. So
Yeah, it's pretty
we'll
damn
say
cool.
indigenous then. Indigenous North American, because American.
Puebloans, they say.
They're
did they?
They're
They did.
Pueblans.
Oh, did they?
They did.
Yeah, because they talk about how Picard's ancestor murdered their
that's
people when he was a Spaniard.
I'm
And
picturing.
still
oh my
named
god!
Picard. Motherfucking
It's my Sean
goddamn.
Connery impression. Isn't he a fucking Spaniard in Highlander? And he's like,
Yes.
oh, what is haggis?
Yep.
This is perfect. It's all come full circle.
But anyway,
Jake, finish the
yeah, I'm going to
synopsis.
finish the synopsis. So basically, long story short,
Not if I have
Picard
anything
agrees
to
to
do
do
with
the
it.
mission. So basically, the planet's been given to the Cardassians in a treaty. So that's why they need to get these people off of the planet. And
what do you mean these people? What the hell is
whoa.
wrong with you?
So Wes goes down there and gets all uppity about shit and is like, yeah, we're gonna fucking resist. And Worf's like, what the fuck you doing, kid?
Well, because he'd been
I went on a vision
sent on a
quest.
vision
he
quest
went-
by.
Oh my
he got,
fucking god.
He got stoned with Walking Bear.
What,
and-
Worf
He did
Worf
drugs
knows-
for the first time, and then a minute later, he's at a protest.
He was like, now I understand what Tasha was saying about drugs.
Worf has done vision quests too. Come on.
So anyway, it almost blows up in everyone's face until
Woo.
Sorry.
until Picard makes a deal between the Cardassians and the Native Americans and says, and they are all like, yeah, all right, we'll let them stay here. We'll let them keep their colony. We won't fuck with them if they don't fuck with us. And
We trust the
No,
Cardassians.
not at all.
No, those
those
people
people
are
are dead
already
like
dead.
2 weeks later, for sure. Like,
yeah, it doesn't work. And then the Dominion, it's not gonna end well for these people.
Not at all.
Wait, do we see them again?
No, I just know it won't.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway, it turns out that the sage old Indian guy was actually the traveler in disguise all along. Wesley's special man friend who wants to take Wesley on a magical
Special journey.
a magical journey
oh.
to explore the
Yes.
deepest, darkest holes in the universe.
And this just improves the episode.
And yes, so basically the traveler's like, listen, Wesley, this was all a test to see if you had the balls to stand up
Listen,
to
Wesley,
your dad.
I used these people and put them in harm's way so I could have a friend.
Wait, was the Traveler in on any of this?
Sounds like something Wesley
He
would
just
do.
showed up there to maybe he was taking advantage of an existing situation.
Well,
I
assumed he just got
I mean,
there.
considering he can will anything into existence, you'd think that he would just solve the problem.
Give Wesley a better shirt.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he caused the situation, but he's definitely using it to his advantage and making things worse
Yeah.
in the process.
But yeah, so Wesley is like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna go off with this guy now. I quit Starfleet. Bye, mom. Bye, dad. See ya. And that's the end.
What's really awful about this is that
Everything.
You guys don't like this one?
there could have been a good episode in
Wait,
here.
did you?
I didn't hate it.
All
I liked the conclusion of where Wesley goes. I think that was good.
Far away from
I
us?
yes,
agreed. Agreed.
I actually didn't. I liked most of the Indian stuff except for the stuff that the guy who turned out to be the traveler was doing.
Wait, can we just agree to say Native Americans and not keep saying Indians?
Well, they said Indian in the episode.
I know, but we're better than that.
I thought we said indigenous people. God damn it.
Anything,
Which one is it?
Anything but Indians.
Puebloans.
Pueblo, yeah.
So my thing is like, it definitely leans on a lot of stereotypes.
But
It-
again,
it
I feel like
leans
most of the
on
ones that it really leans on are the ones that the traveler himself is perpetrating.
I said the same thing. I actually felt like the episode was not as bad because all the super, like, he's the one who's like,
We have
you
a
probably
vision
think,
quest.
yeah, and you probably think that we only, like, converse with the animal spirits and the buffalo and the frog, but we also with the Klingons and the... And the fact that he wasn't even Native American, I was like, good. That's great.
Like all the other guys are just like, yeah, we don't want to leave our homes.
Chris did point out that the one dude was kind of like, the mountains welcomed me. But I was like, yeah, but here's the thing is, I don't know nearly enough about any of Native American spirituality, but I do know that it became a big thing where people kept saying spirit animal, and that was, like, offensive. So what I have to assume from that is that the spirit animal and concepts of this, where there is this spirituality about nature, must exist still in the culture, and therefore feeling like a harmony with the nature and the space that you're in must be sort of part of that spirituality. So that didn't bother me as much.
There's definitely, though, a lot of leaning into, like, noble savage stereotypes.
Here's the thing. I was looking at this episode a little bit. I read a little bit in my companion book, which I have, about how, like, the writers and the staff, they approached a bunch of different people of different tribes, different heritages, to consult on this episode, and all of them said, just don't name names, just don't make it about my people, just don't make it specific to any of us. Which is why they call them just the Puebloan people, because it's not a tribe, it's just any fucking group in the Southwest.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
So basically, like, the designers and the writers, they came up with all the Native American style, language, and design and stuff out of nothing.
But did they actually end up? Because, like, I know, for example, that the previous time we had a Native American episode was the animated series with Walking Bear.
No.
But in as much as, like, we kind of cringe about that episode,
I was just doing something.
Yeah,
But the writer was
it
actually...
turned out that the writer was a prominent Native American writer,
and they won an Emmy for that episode.
And it was considered to be a pretty, we cringed at it because, we're a bunch of whiteys and we don't know shit.
Well, no, it's not just that. It's because 40 years later, even though that was the best they could do in the 70s, it's still a little...
But it seems like it did justice to what it set out to do. Whereas I'm unsure, I don't know, with this episode, how did the Native American community react to this episode?
I don't know.
I don't have that information.
There was also a lot, like, you gotta remember, like, there's a shitload of, like, Native American fetishizing going on in pop culture at this time with, like, this is probably...
Was there?
Well, yeah, you get, like,
no.
Stands with a Fist, that's
Dances with
Wolves.
Did you say Dances with a Fist?
Stands with a Fist was a character in Dances with Wolves.
And you know how much Jake likes fists.
Well, that's why I was like, wow, he's just got fisting on the brain. Indian in the Cupboard.
Indian in the Cupboard.
Oh, right.
I don't know.
God,
That's of the
that movie's
Mohegans
so
was
bad.
probably earlier than this, I think. Maybe not. I don't know.
The P.S. Dances with Wolves is a super good movie.
Pocahontas was probably...
no, that's a little later, right?
That was the 90s.
The commercial with the crying Native American.
I mean, this is also the
It's
90s.
not even... Who's just like an Italian guy?
But anyway, so, like, there was a lot of Native
What's
American
this?
stuff
Crying
happening.
what?
The crying Native American on the canoe asking you to take care of the land.
Oh, I don't remember
Pocahontas.
It was a commercial that was like an environmental.
I think I may have just erased that because that sounds really upsetting.
Yeah, the Disney movie was 95. This was 94.
Well, so it was
but it's
close.
all in the same time, is what I'm saying. Like, that was something that was a popular thing in American pop culture at the time. So,
well, here's the thing. Because looking at this episode, it's like I actually think the story is actually very conducive to what we want to learn about Native American folks. Like, to talk about, we were forced off of our land. We did not want to live in the Federation, so we found this planet, and now you're forcing us off of this one too. Like, as you said, do you see the fucking irony?
Yeah.
And the story here becomes a moral one that I think actually fits really nicely and represents them in a very clear light.
Here's the thing, also, though, it's a moral thing that Picard is on the wrong side of
completely
the whole time.
Yep.
Like, it's basically when his
because
hand...
he's following orders.
When his...
Mm-hmm.
And,
it's like the return of dumb Picard.
And Chris will get this. If only there was a hot lady that Picard liked among the Native Americans, because I'm sure he would have resisted Nechea's orders more.
That's the thing. I kind of wish more of this episode had been less, the
Is that
fucking
a Miramani
traveler
reference or what?
No, there's a future TNG related piece of media that we will cover where it's basically the same plot as
Oh,
this.
okay.
Only
Sorry.
Picard takes the exact opposite
Got it.
side.
Well, maybe he learned from his mistakes.
No, he just wants to fuck someone.
Okay.
Miramani, yeah.
What I like, the Traveler ruins the
doesn't,
episode. Because he really does, again. He really brings up, like, the most stereotypical bullshit. It would have been better if Wesley just came to this on his own without, like, getting high and seeing Dad. Like, you've already got Wesley sort of doubting his place in Starfleet.
Mm-hmm.
And if the story just grew organically from him being like, this is bullshit. Guys, anyone else? Okay, fuck Starfleet. And that's still part of it. But the epiphany is, got high, saw Dad.
Don't follow in my footsteps, son.
And that, to me, weakens him coming, like, his character growth. Because he didn't come to it on his own. He came to it on a weird Traveler-induced
And
vision.
do me a favor and kill Picard.
No reason. The thing is, though, is that no matter what reason he decided to go in this other direction, he's being such a whiny little bitch at the beginning that there was no saving it, in my opinion, because he's just being such a petulant shithead.
Yeah, he's like 18, but acting like he's going through puberty.
Yeah, like, get out of here. You're not a child. This is not appropriate. Like,
No,
and arguably he never got, like, a childhood, maybe, but that was because he was always fucking wonder boying it up and showing off and being a little turd. It's like there's no middle ground for Wesley. He can't be a normal kid, and now he can't just be, like, a normal fucking adult. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
well,
I'm
that's-
glad that he had the moral epiphany, because somebody had to stop that shit. But everything
that's-
else leading up to it, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, here's a fucking copy of The Cure's greatest hits, and, like, I don't know what else.
Yeah, well, again,
Something
that's
else
just-
that's emo. Like,
that's
go
just-
right
Get
ahead.
some black mascara
Yeah.
and some pants with lots of buckles.
That's just the bad writing of this episode. Like, again, if they'd written him well as having sort of an adult conflict, which he was having, but they presented it, as you said, sort of a petulant teenager conflict.
And it just made him
It, like, he
insufferable.
reverted to, like, season 1 Wesley.
Like
It was
he
very
did,
annoying.
He did act like a prick, but I'll say this: like I identified somewhat with what he was going through in this episode, in just that he had his whole life essentially this thrust upon him these expectations that he was going to follow in his father's footsteps. He was going to go to Starfleet Academy.
You know he's basically Mozart, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be he's this genius. Everybody loves him. He's the acting ensign, and then he goes to school and figures out, I don't really think I want to fulfill that.
Locarno's not
Destiny.
here anymore, so I don't know whose hair to copy.
So
If I follow orders, I might just kill a friend.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like,
I kind of wanted him to bring that up.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, wait a minute, John.
Well, we
I
already
thought
brought,
they were leading to that.
we already
Yeah.
brought that up with Cedo Jackson, which was
No, but I wanted, like, Wesley to kind of flip it around. Be like, wait a minute, Johnny. All that stuff about, like, doing the right thing in the academy, and now you're doing this?
Oh, that would be a
I
good
mean,
way
it
to
really,
turn
I mean,
around.
that's a different thing though, because in the academy thing, it was to tell the truth.
Well, that's true. But either way, if you can boil it down to just doing the right thing, Picard is not doing the right thing. Like, at all.
It feels like character assassination to justify Wesley going off on his
It
journey.
really does.
Yeah.
It also seems like interesting that Picard was assigned this mission without like a diplomatic envoy.
Yeah,
Well, he's got
they
Troy.
probably, I was gonna say, they probably figured he's got an empath, fine.
Yeah.
Well, he's also like the wonderkind of captains, right?
Yeah.
Troy can sense that all the people on, what's the planet? Dorvan 5 are pissed off at you.
They seem really pissed.
Well, you know what? That's the thing. We all know the reason he got this mission was destiny to wipe that stain on his whatever.
That was
23 generations ago.
So
How many
emphatically
years
unnecessary.
is that? Like, when
Yeah,
when
'cause
was his family supposed to have done? Because I think of generations
Do they
as
say
being
1600s or
like...
16th century?
Yeah.
That's
And-
way more than 23 generations.
Yeah,
then.
but also the fact that like generations at this point are like 137 years
Oh,
old,
yeah,
right?
that's
Isn't that like
true.
the average lifespan?
That's a good point, but generation tends to be like every 20 to 30 years.
Yeah, it's
doesn't
whenever
it?
you start whelping children.
That's true.
Whelping. That's a good word, Ames.
Whelping is a great
Well,
word.
yeah, so you can say that you might get 4 generations per century,
Okay, so...
and then if we're
it's
saying
been...
it's 700 years, say,
So that's 28
yeah.
generations.
So you could say that maybe some of them had children late in life. I don't know.
I don't know. Perhaps.
Who knows?
I was just curious. I missed the 1600s bit or the 16th century bit, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But I was like 23 generations ago seems like the 1900s. So
Well, it was
I
whenever
don't know
the
what we're doing
Spaniards
here.
were in, were wiping Native Americans out in that part of the continent.
When did that happen?
Yeah, generally from the 1490s through whenever the English
that's
started
right.
doing
When
it in the
Columbus showed up,
1700s.
yeah, of course.
You know what pissed me off for just convenience's sake is that the ancestor is also a Picard.
Right.
So it specifically goes down the paternal line.
Like, it couldn't even have been like, can we even make sort of a Spanish version of the name?
Picard.
Picard.
Oh, so wait, so how many generations did they say?
23.
Okay, so 23 generations. So let's say Jean-Luc Picard, 23 generations earlier, would have, so he has two parents, so 2 to the power of 23 is how many ancestors Jean-Luc Picard has in the 23rd removed generation.
Right. There are so many surnames to choose
Yeah, so like the fact that it just happens to be the one Picard out of 2 to the 23rd power is like
Well, the Traveler
in
did it.
the trillions easily, right?
Having said that, I mean, there is a lot of, to this day even, but even especially in the past, like, there was a lot of movement between,
Trillions, billions.
countries. He could have, that Picard could have been a Frenchman who was just working with the Spanish military for some reason. So he could still have the French name. And also you did have that, but once upon a time you would be referred to, they would localize your name when you went places.
2 to the 23rd power is 8,388,608.
So
To be
that's
fair,
a
some-
lot of grandparents.
To be fair, there's probably a lot of overlap
Yes,
when you
I'm
get
sure
back
there
a
is a
bunch
lot
of
of
years.
Yeah.
People used to die younger.
What?
You heard him.
Yeah, it made sense in my head, not once it fell out of my mouth.
But also,
I mean, he's not wrong. That's all I'm saying.
from studying genealogy, I know that like most people can't go back 3 generations on every line without hitting a non-paternal event. So the fact that this guy was related to Picard 23 generations ago, and they're 100% sure of that, not
There's
accurate.
probably tons of people who are related to this guy as well.
That
Well,
should
they weren't sure of it, but then it was convenient to the plot, so they were like, you know what, that fits perfectly.
There should have been a moment.
was dumb. It was a dumb thing to put in the show.
There should have been a moment at the end where Picard is sitting at a computer and he's like, "I'm not related to that asshole. That guy's just fucking with me."
He just made up.
Son of a
the guy
bitch!
just
End
made
credits.
up a name. Just made up a name. There was no officer named Picard at all.
That's the thing. I doubt even now you can find records of random ass soldiers from that era. Like, no one who wasn't a famous fucking general or aristocrat had records survive to the 24th century.
Well, maybe this is like,
It's like an oral
they're
history.
going Assassin's Creed on this shit, so they've actually just like been able to plug into the past of everybody on your line just by playing with your DNA.
Honestly,
It could happen.
I like this episode for the most part. I don't think that the ancient Picard thing added anything, and I think it actually cheapened Picard's arc in this because it made it seem kind of like he did the right thing in the end.
Only because it was personal?
Because there was a personal connection versus him doing it because it was the right thing. And then the other thing about this episode is I do feel like a lot of the Wesley shit was just kind of jammed in to be like,
Such
let's give a conclusion
shit.
to Wesley's story.
We didn't need a conclusion. He fucking went away. We were all happy. Why did we have to bring him back?
No, I
He
don't-
had that great cameo where he had one line, and we were like, oh, good. He's finally become a fucking well-adjusted,
But that was in a time-
respectable human being.
that was in an alternate timeline.
Yeah, so what? We had to be in this fucking timeline where he was a petulant little turd?
No,
I could have done without it.
It's his character though. They did a great job with his character. And the thing is, I like where Wesley goes. I like that they finished his character in this way because years and years and years ago, 7 years ago, they're like, man, the Traveler says Wesley's a genius and we should foster him and do this stuff. Foster his talent and all of this. And it's like, okay, I guess he's in Starfleet and not doing anything special when he's supposed to be the most special boy who ever lived.
Helped cover up a murder. Not a lot of people get to do that in their lifetime.
That's true. That's pretty special.
But does so here's the thing though, right? So now is Wesley, is he like transcending, like, or
That seems to be the implication.
You're a wizard, Wesley.
See, last episode it was devolving. This episode it's evolving.
De-evolving.
Sorry.
Devolving.
EDM music.
because it still doesn't really explain his importance. Like like if it was
He's
like
going to be a traveler,
if he
too.
had somehow solved the issue with the Native Americans somehow, or if he had contributed anything.
Then it's just Wesley saving the day
But
again,
that's
which we got
what
away
he does.
from.
Yeah.
But, the thing,
Well,
but
see,
it's
what
also just
Wesley-
like, why is he there? Like, why does it give? No one gives a shit.
Wesley is helping cause Voyager.
Explain.
This has got to be the start of the Maquis, right?
They dropped that thread from the plot.
Did the...
There was going to be a Maquis thing.
Okay.
What is this?
You'll learn
We'll
about
see
it
them later.
in
We've
DS9.
seen
Great.
the Maquis.
No, yeah.
Oh no, we already saw the start. I think of the Maquis, kinda.
Did we? I thought this was it.
I don't know enough about.
We'll
the
get to it when
Maquis.
we get to
Well,
the
the
Maquis.
Maquis, there's an episode that we'll
Maquis
cover in a
Sade?
couple of weeks. I think that's more about this.
Okay.
Awesome.
But we did have like the Bajoran. It's really the Bajoran. Remember the first episode with Ro
Yeah.
with the Bajorans? Like that, I feel like was a precursor to the Maquis.
That's fair.
Those Bajoran militants.
Anyway, getting back to Picard. Picard is actually way better at parenting than anyone would have thought. Because when Bev is like, I'm worried about Wesley. He's acting so mopey and being mean to Geordi. Picard's like, yeah, he's a teenage boy. That's what they do. Maybe you should leave him alone.
Yeah. Everyone likes to be mean to Geordi sometimes.
I was thinking that.
Have you seen what he did with Leia Brahms? I'm going to go be mean to Geordi now.
Doesn't it seem as though it's possible that the Federation Cardassian treaty is sounding more and more like bullshit? Like,
Why?
well, consider, so everybody that we know that has had anything to do with it is pissed off about it.
Yep.
Like,
Including the Cardassians?
So like Ro Laren and
Yeah.
that episode, right?
Ensign Rowe?
And Ensign Rowe. You know, the Bajorans weren't happy with the situation.
When are the Bajorans happy?
That's true. You know, we have Captain
Maxwell.
who pretty much more or less uncovered the fucking shit. We have Picard getting captured by
David Warner.
and tortured. You know, we and there's been other. We have the incident that where we're still spying on them, and
Yes.
we got Cedo killed. And so there's lots of fucking problems.
Yeah,
here.
no, this is a treaty that was never destined to end well.
Yeah,
Like you feel like this is the treaty of
Versailles. No,
Algeron.
the one that ended World War I. Was that the Treaty of Versailles?
yeah, Treaty of Versailles.
Where it was just like
World War II.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
either way, it's one of those treaties that feels like this is just a band-aid and this is going to get worse later.
Yeah.
That's what DS9 is for.
Yeah, it definitely, and it seems to me like this Cardassian stuff is not going well.
No.
And every time we have an interaction with Cardassians, it's not gonna be good.
No, it's very bad. Also, yes, Treaty of Versailles did end World War I.
That's what I thought.
Huh. I stand corrected.
Yeah, no, but yeah, like I said, like no one, Federation doesn't seem to like it, the Cardassians don't seem to like it. Like Nechev mentions, no one was completely happy. It's like no one seemed to be at all happy. Like even remotely. This took 3 years to work out and it's still this bad?
Honestly,
How incompetent is the Federation?
honestly, they should have sent Jellicoe on this mission.
He'd get it done.
He'd get it done. And then when the Cardassians showed up, he'd make them sit across the table.
Make him wait for a while while they stewed.
Fucking dingbat.
So here's the
Love
thing is,
Jellicoe.
the only way I can now envision Jellicoe is how he's portrayed in the Star Trek shitposting group. So as far as I'm concerned, Jellicoe just tells bad dad jokes all the time. And he's like, Jellicoe, if the Star Trek shitposting group was actually Jellicoe, would be like my favorite character in the show.
Yeah, no, I love that version of Jellicoe, just telling dumb jokes and confounding everyone, but...
Captain Jellicoe, what rhymes with orange?
No, it doesn't.
It's so good. Like, it's just so good.
I'm glad Kelly's
That's
impressed.
great. It's
I
really,
may use that.
it's really funny. That shit, it's anyway.
Yeah,
but
keep that in your back pocket for when the boy knows,
When
What
little
or-
Riker-
humor.
What oranges are.
Yeah, and can understand.
Jake,
Rhyme
what
schemes.
are you doing to your placemat now?
He's doodling on it.
I'm coloring.
The placemat side is
Making
taking on a new dimension.
He's
Great, all right.
making it the
I'll take
worst placemat it can be.
Yeah, no, this episode was underwhelming for me. I just feel like
it's in the middle of my map pile,
it
but I
feels
didn't
like
hate it.
another draft could have made it good, maybe even great, but it was lacking that.
Yeah,
Certainly,
there were definitely elements of good there that just didn't.
it benefits from being on the heels of Genesis. Because, oh my god.
Most things would.
Holy shit, that was bad.
Yeah, I just felt like I was cringing every time someone said the word Indian.
Yeah.
And that was taking me out of, really paying attention to
It's
everything
the
else.
future.
Like,
they have new words for everything now.
Even the Cardassians say Indian. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
and they're being filtered through translate.
Exactly.
And
So
it does
you're
seem weird.
racist-ass
It does seem weird
translators.
considering the time period.
It also kind of bothered me that, they set up this village, and there's no sign of any technology. We know they have it, because they
I
had
know.
to get there.
They must have been on a generational ship because it took them 200 years to find this place.
I
Right?
think it was generation. They bopped to a couple different planets.
Yeah, it sounds like they
They
had
moved to
hard
a
time
planet
finding
where,
a good place.
this place kind of sucks. They went to another planet. They're like, oh, wait, we're just in New Jersey. They went to another planet, and they were like, no. Then they got to this planet, and for whatever reason, they were like, yeah. Yeah, I will admit, too, I guess it does sort of help knowing that the most awful, stereotype character was actually someone play acting.
Yeah.
Could have done without the pan flutes in the score.
Yeah, there's
That
a
was-
lot of
that was a bit,
flute.
Yeah,
guys.
I caught that too.
Not one person, not just I know they were trying to preserve their culture, but everyone dressed in very samey sort of garb. They
What
become a
that's-
monoculture.
That's every culture that Star Trek visits.
I know, but
so-
this is the one where they could have mix it up a little for fuck's sake.
I
They're
mean, the
not
Star
going to
Trek
do that.
people themselves are
Well,
all
they're-
in the same jumpsuit, except for Troy when she feels like wearing athleisure.
Yeah, but they're in the military. At least they have a reason. They're required to look the same.
Troy has to always be prepared to do yoga at the drop of a hat.
That's a word I always forget and always gives me a giggle.
Athleisure?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, so we've dealt with Wesley being a bad son.
And becoming a proto-Q, I guess.
And letting all of us down.
So let's have some other
Bad sons.
some other child letdowns next week on our show. When
I
we
smell
cover,
Alexander.
When we
Oh,
cover
God.
Firstborn and Bloodlines.
Ugh.
Wow, they really pulled out all the stops this season, making every episode about someone's child. So those are coming up next time on our show, The Star to Steer Her By.
Listen, Spot's children are amazing.
Until next time,
And fluffy.
They're so fucking cute.
you can hear our internet on the internet at Star Trek Star to Steer Her By. Search that on Google. Star to Steer Her By. Go to Facebook. Find Star to Steer Her By. And Tumblr and Twiddler too. sshbpodcast.com/website.
Great.
And then
No, he's right. /website. That's exactly right.
and then find us on YouTube at Star Trek.
YouTube?
No, we're not.
He's the webmaster. He could do that.
We could
True.
also have.
Oh, it's not iTunes anymore.
That's right.
They sunsetted iTunes.
yeah.
So yeah, you don't find us on iTunes. So
What,
fuck
Apple-
you if you're
Apple,
an Apple
fuck
Apple
you.
person.
Podcasts, I think.
Yeah, well, fuck you, Apple. We're still on iTunes. We're not switching. We refuse.
I think
I think it automatically happened.
Nope. We're iTunes. So go to iTunes.
Wait, are you saying we're not on iTunes?
We're not on iTunes.
well, no one's on iTunes. Is gone.
iTunes is gone. It has been changed into Apple Podcasts.
Is Google still called Google Tunes?
It's never
It was
been
never
called
called that. No.
Well, find us there too. And you can always find us on our home on the web for music listening sounds
Holy
on
shit.
SoundCloud.
This just in, whoever took the hit out on Ortiz only offered $8,000. Can you imagine trying to kill David Ortiz and all you got was $8,000? Fuck. All right, go on.
So my name has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
I'm Kelly.
See you later, alligators.
In a while, crocodile.
We never did figure out a good sign out for this.
There were lots of
series.
alligators in Genesis. Come on.
Yeah, they just didn't see any. And Spot was literally an iguana. So
Literally.
Literally.
They didn't even make up the cat.
Yeah, no.
They just
there
put
was-
the cat's collar
Oh
on
my
an iguana.
god, now I want
They
to see
should've-
Spot
Oh my
dressed
God.
like an iguana.
They should have dressed her in the little outfit they put the dog in
Oh, and
the furry with the horn.
two
Kirks.
Kirks.
Enemy within.
Yeah.
There we go.
No, it's called Two Kirks. I think if you check, you'll find that that's correct.
1,000 years ago when you said, I want to be on a Wesley episode so I can tell my Wesley story.
Oh.
What's the Wesley story?
So it's that Will Wheaton, I met him at PAX East, the first ever PAX East.
Neat.
And
Did you hit on him a little?
I totally
A
did.
lot?
And he was game for it. I mean, in the sense that, you know, I flirted with him and he flirted back.
Oh.
I told him that I had a giant crush on him when I was growing up and that he was my first crush ever. And he just looked me up and down for like a solid 10 seconds and then said, "You grew up good."
Are you kidding me?
I don't know how to
That's
feel
That's
about
my Will
that.
Wheaton. This is before the Me Too era.
Better have been before he
But-
met his wife, because...
I think it was after.
oh,
Yeah.
Will, come on,
Yeah.
man.
I mean,
But-
Kelly is a fox. though,
Expect that
to
of
be
Will
fair.
Riker, not Will Wheaton.
Yeah.
That was good. I like that.
Thank you.
Well, that's a cool story, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
It actually is kind of a cool
You
story.
know,
I like
I
it.
have no celebrity encounter stories, so...
Yeah, better than the time I was felt up by Ed from Bare Naked Ladies, but
Oh.
Yeah.
Which Bruins player did you hold the door for once?
Lucic.
Look, I forgot about Milan Lucic.
Yeah. Lucic, is that how you say it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of sucks now. He plays for somebody else.
Yeah. All the good ones leave.
Just like men.
Bergman's here forever. Shut your mouth.
Be sure to tip your yeoman.
Charm will never retire. Never.